Stone, what have you got for us this week, sir?
Yes. Well, okay. Yesterday was Veterans Day, November 11th. Every year, we I I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now that I haven't talked about my military background in a while, but I need to throw it out there because just I joined the Navy right out of high school. I served in Japan for 4 years on the USS Arleigh Burke out of Sasebo, Japan, and I also served on the USS Fort McHenry out of Norfolk, Virginia, for a number of years. But I've been to many, many countries, and I traveled all throughout that time of 8 years, and had to get out, unfortunately, due to circumstances I'm not going to discuss. But I thought to myself, you know what? I would really like to recommend some movies about veterans. In case you might have missed some of these ones, because there's a lot of. Yes, like a couple of years ago, we had a movie called "Thank You for Your Service." I never saw it, but it was one of those movies that was trying to honor veterans while at the same time trying to stay as apolitical as possible, which is completely understandable. I think the best movies about veterans are the ones that are simply as realistic as possible, and honor what they did without sensationalizing or anything of that nature. But I have three movies here that I wanted to recommend, even though Veterans Day was yesterday. In case over the weekend, if you want to check out some movies about veterans. The first one I want to get out here is it's actually a war film. However, the truth of the matter is that the protagonist's father is in fact a World War I veteran, and played by who is the villain in the Matrix? Who plays the bad guy in the Matrix again?
Lawrence Fishburne?
Hugo Weaving?
What's his name? Hugo Weaving. Yes, sorry. Yes.
Lawrence
Yes,
Fishburne.
Hugo Weaving. Lawrence Fishburne. Well, okay. Look, the movie is Mel Gibson's Hacksaw Ridge, which I think is, in my opinion, one of the finest war films to come out in decades. I actually even preferred it over Saving Private Ryan. I think it is Mel Gibson's masterpiece, and I also think it is redemption, both personally and professionally. He turned down this script twice. And the story is about Desmond Doss, who served in World War II. He went to Army boot camp. However, because of his religious beliefs, he refused to carry a weapon. He refused to even touch a weapon. He's even though he thought that the war was justified because of Pearl Harbor and everything, he just, I can't touch a weapon because of his religion. And everybody looked at him as a coward and like, you shouldn't even be here and everything. And so he goes off to fight in the Battle of Okinawa. And miraculously, despite the fact that this was the bloodiest war of World War II, he saved the lives of 75 men, all without holding or touching a weapon of any kind. He was a medic. And his whole idea was, well, after the war, people are destroying each other. I want to save it a little bit. I want to put some of it back together. He's very earnest. He's from Virginia, which is where I'm from. So, I have a very strong connection with him and everything. I'm not religious myself, but see, the thing is, it's not, even if you don't agree with his religious beliefs, it's all about staying true to your convictions. He didn't want to carry a weapon, and he went into battle. If you want to talk about bravery of the highest order, I can't get any higher than that. But I was going to say also that Hugo Weaving plays his father, a World War I veteran who actually helps his son in key ways despite the fact he's a drunk and everything, and everything. But if you haven't seen the movie, no matter how you feel about Mel Gibson, because I know he's still a very controversial figure. But I mean, I really do think that he redeemed himself tenfold with Hacksaw Ridge. And on top of all that, the final thing I will say about it is everybody gave Mel Gibson crap about how factually inaccurate Braveheart is. And look, I love Braveheart. I saw it in the theaters, and all I have to say is, especially to my dear friends in Scotland, that movie brought your country more tourism than any movie in history. So I don't think anybody has a right to complain, but that's just me. I still think it's a great movie, even if it didn't follow history. Hacksaw Ridge is pretty close to what happened. I mean, it's based on a documentary. It's pretty true. It's altogether pretty true. And like I said, if you haven't seen it, whether it's because of your feelings for Mel Gibson, I understand, but please check it out. Please check it out sometime. So, real quick, any words on Hacksaw Ridge?
I've actually not seen it.
Me neither.
Oh wow!
I think it's a fantastic piece of work. Mel Gibson. The one thing about Mel Gibson, I talk about that film. What I love about that film, Stone, and also Stone, I want to say thank you for your service, sir. Both of my grandfathers were World War II veterans. My best friend's dad was a Vietnam veteran. He passed on. I support our soldiers. I love that film. And what I really love about that film is the fact that it really, it promotes, staying true to your convictions, like you said, and being true to yourself. And the fact that this guy pushed through physical, trial and tribulations, without a weapon, and the fact that he had a high level of faith. I mean, the fact to go out there without a weapon and rescue people while people are getting blown apart he was a very noble man. I love that film. And I think, Mel is gray. Mel is gray. I think he is the character of Martin Riggs. I really do think he is. I love that film.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. And see the second film real quick. This film is about, it's about a Vietnam War veteran. And the thing is, back in the 70s, Vietnam in terms of cinema was a very touchy subject. Nobody wanted to do movies about Vietnam in the 70s. I mean, it was just a fact. I mean, I think the first time when really something came out that was really shocking and really showed Vietnam in its true horoscope was a documentary called Hearts and Minds, which won an Oscar in 1973. 4 years later, in 1977, we of course had Star Wars. And later that year in November, a little film came out from Universal Pictures called Heroes with Henry Winkler and Sally Field. Henry Winkler plays a Vietnam veteran, and he's going through a lot of issues. He's trying to tell kids at the recruiting station, don't sign up for this. It's a stupid war. Go home. You'll be safe. And of course, he gets thrown into a mental ward at the VA hospital. And then he decides, you know what? I need to find my eureka. I need to figure out what I need to do. And he decides to, a bunch of his buddies want to invest in a worm farm. Okay. So he sets out cross country to meet with his other platoon buddies to start a worm farm. Meets with Sally Field on the bus. And this was the same year as Smokey and the Bandit, which of course propelled her to stardom. And who does he meet? One of his platoon buddies, but Harrison Ford, in one of his very first films. This was actually, this came out only 6 months after Star Wars. And he's in it, but he does truly make an impression. And this is one of those 70s films that has an ending that is still kind of a topic of controversy, because what happened was that Heroes actually made a good impact with the public. I mean, it helps when Henry Winkler, the star of 1970s television, is headlining this movie. It was made for $1 million. It was written by an actual Vietnam War veteran called James Karabatsos, who also later wrote Heartbreak Ridge for Clint Eastwood and Hamburger Hill. Yes, yeah. And the budget was $1 million. It made $33 million. That is the quintessential definition of a sleeper hit. And I'm not going to say what happens at the end, because I don't want to ruin it for everybody. But at the same time, in the theaters, when the ending started, it played a song by Kansas called Carry On My Wayward Son. For reasons only Universal knows, they never, ever put that probably because of music rights, they never put that song on VHS prints or DVD prints. This is the first time that song has ever been seen on physical media. The first time. This Blu-ray, which came out this year from Mill Creek Entertainment, this is the first time that song has been included. It makes a world of difference. I mean, I think that's a great song in of itself, but seriously, it makes a world of difference. And even though Mill Creek, they don't do a lot of extras and everything, but they've gone into habit of doing like retro packaging. This is for Jamie, the Legend of Billie Jean, where they would
Roxanne.
They would dress them up like the old VHS covers and tapes, which I think is pretty cool. But seriously, this is one of the best releases of the year. Mill Creek did something right that Universal screwed up on, and I will never, ever understand it. I mean, you made $33 million on a $1 million budget movie. You can pay for this song. I mean, I just don't understand the mentality of some studios. But anyway, last but not least, I am almost done. Last but not least, I would like to talk really quickly about what is, in fact, my favorite movie of all time. It is, in fact, the movie that inspired me to join the United States Navy. I mean, my grandfather, he took 5 bullets on D-Day in World War II. And I also have, oddly enough, I also have a direct ancestor who fought under General Washington's command during the Revolution. So my military lineage goes back centuries, to be honest. But look, when I was 17 years old, I knew I was going to join the military. I just had no idea which branch I was going to do. Army, Air Force, Coast Guard. I didn't think I was Marine material, but I found a movie in my father's private collection, which is in fact a movie called The Best Years of Our Lives from 1946. It won 9 Academy Awards, Best Picture included. And it won over It's a Wonderful Life, by the way, which is now considered a Christmas classic. But Best Years of Our Lives also won Best Picture in every other country it came out in, including Japan, which we had bombed only a year before. That speaks volumes as to the impact that this movie has, and that's why I consider it the only movie ever made to truly heal the entire world. It had a healing effect because it's about 3 veterans returning home from World War II, and they have to readjust to civilian life. It's a 3-hour movie. It's in black and white. I know these are caveats to a lot of people. And yet at the same time, it's one of the greatest movies ever made that doesn't get nearly enough recognition now. And I think it's the quintessential movie about World War II veterans. Frederick March, Dana Andrews, Myrna Loy, many classic actors and actresses. But the one I want to talk about real quick is Harold Russell. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because he is the only actor, even though ironically enough, he wasn't an actor. He was a real life Navy veteran who lost his hands in an explosion. And throughout the entire movie, he has these hooks. And so, but he wasn't an actor. He was in a documentary called Diary of a Sergeant, where he talked about his World War II experiences and how he lost his hands. And so he did this movie, and soon he's going to the Academy Award ceremony, and the Academy said, wait a minute, okay, we nominated him for Best Supporting Actor. He's never going to win that. He's going up against A-list stars like Claude Rains and, whoever else. He doesn't have a chance in hell to win this. So the Academy gave him a special Academy Award for bringing hope and courage to his fellow veterans through his appearance in Best Years of Our Lives. And then he wins Best Supporting Actor anyway. The only time ever, and it will never happen again, trust me, it will never happen again, that an actor, here again, ironically, quote unquote, won 2 Oscars for the exact same role. That will never, ever, ever happen ever again. So, and one more thing I wanted to share. Several months ago, I went down to Baltimore because I wanted to pick up something that was very, very important to me. A rare, very, very rare original screenplay of the Best Years of Our Lives, complete with 1946 changes.
That's awesome.
This was in a RKO library. RKO is a studio that's been long gone ever since the 50s, but it's been in an RKO library for 50 years. And the gentleman that sold this to me was, in fact, the executor to Dana Andrews' estate. And Dana Andrews was one of the stars of the movie. So that tells you how much this movie means to me. And I'm just determined to recommend it to as many people as possible. And especially when in just a few years, all of our World War II veterans are going to be gone. And this movie, it deserves a revival. It is a bit, it's the Blu-ray is out of print. The DVD and Blu-rays are long out of print. Why Criterion of all places haven't picked this up, I don't know what the deal is going on there. But even Roger Ebert, when he wrote about it in 2007, said, this is one of those rare cases, a movie that won 9 Oscars and it doesn't even have a proper Blu-ray or even a proper DVD. I mean, the DVDs are, the quality is not all that great. And they were released in the early 2000s when that technology was primitive. It's never gotten an ideal physical media release. And if any movie deserves an ideal physical media release, it's this one. So I stand down. That's me. Thank you.
Very, very well done, Stone. And thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely, Stone.